Baruch Hashem, it is day number 9 of our daily study of the Rambam Sefer HaMitzvos, and the mitzvahs that we're studying correspond to the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah study track. And over there, we're still in Hilchos Deis. Those are laws of how to be a mensch, how to be a good person. And you'll see these mitzvahs are mitzvahs of interpersonal relationships and general good character traits. So we're continuing now. I think we have 4 mitzvahs to cover today. We're going to start with positive commandment number 207, which is to love the ger. A ger here means a ger tzedek. That means somebody who became a full-fledged Jew. That's to distinguish from a ger toishev, which is a status which does not exist today. But in the times of the Holy Temple, there was a resident alien, somebody who would be a non-Jew and observe the 7 Noahide laws and live in the Holy Land. That's called a ger toishev, but that's not what we're talking about here. The mitzvah we're saying here, positive commandment number 207, and to love v'ahavta es hager means a ger tzedek. That means gershin is gayer, somebody who was born not Jewish and becomes a full-fledged Jew through halachic conversion. And it is a mitzvah to love that person. Now, you're going to say, and the Rambam says, isn't this person also already covered by and love your fellow? Because they became your fellow, they became Jewish, so you have to love every Jew. So it's a double whammy. It is a double mitzvah. There are 2 mitzvahs. And also, well, we're not getting into that today, but multiple prohibitions against painting such a person, God forbid. So we have the mitzvah to love the ger just like you would love any of your fellows, and plus on top of that, to love them as an extra measure. Next, we have negative commandment 302. Now, it's interesting here because we have 3 more mitzvahs to cover today, and they're all from one verse. They're all from one biblical verse. So we have negative commandment 302, we have positive commandment 205, and negative commandment 303, and they're all from the same pasuk, from the same scriptural verse, which is Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. I'll read you the verse. Leisisna es achicha b'levavecha. Do not hate your brother in your heart. Hoicheach toichiach es amisecha. You shall surely rebuke your fellow. Veloisisa olav hate, and you shall not bear sin on his account. Okay, there are 3 mitzvahs in that one sentence. Let's unpack it. Okay, so negative mitzvah number 302 is don't hate your fellow in your heart. That's the first part of that verse where it says, Leisisna es achicha b'levavecha. Do not hate your fellow in your heart. And as the Rambam explains, what does it mean not to hate him in your heart? It means in your heart. It means a feeling. Now, if you go and you act on it, then you're, God forbid, transgressing the 2 prohibitions. Don't bear a grudge and don't take revenge. And also failing to perform the mitzvah, the positive commandment of, and love your fellow. Okay, but this prohibition here is purely the feeling of animosity. Now we have positive commandment 205, which is rebuking, to actually confront. I don't want to use the word confront because that has connotations that it's going to be adversarial. And the ultimate ideal form of doing this mitzvah is that it should be pleasant. It should be pleasant. It doesn't have to be hostile at all. It shouldn't be hostile. But at any rate, it's the next part of the verse where it says, "Don't hate him in your heart. Rather what? Go and talk it out with him. Talk it out with him." So that means we have the mitzvah that if somebody's doing wrong, don't just write them off and say, that guy's bad, he's doing wrong. See if you can put him on the straight path. And it's not an option. It's a mitzvah. It's positive commandment number 205. And then finally, we have negative commandment 303, which is that you shouldn't shame your fellow. You shouldn't shame him. What does that mean? That when you go and you speak to him about his faults, about what he's doing wrong, you have to be gentle. You have to be gentle. And that's what the rest of the verse says. V'leisisa olav chet, and do not bear sin on his account, means that when you go to address his shortcomings, do it in a very respectful manner so you don't accidentally, God forbid, embarrass him and shame him, which that is actually prohibited. Okay, so there you go. Those are our mitzvahs today, and we'll be with you again tomorrow for more Sefer HaMitzvos.